Welcome to After the Buzz alongside Tommy Yarish and Ashton Lux. My name is Nolan J. And guys, last week the NFL schedule came out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the first 8 weeks of this episode. We're going to go game by game and predict who we're going to think win these games. Now, a quick side note, earlier this week, the NFL came out with a statement saying they might change the rules and the leagues a little bit. So for the coronavirus, now what that might mean is they're going to do something called a portable schedule. Now, with this portable schedule, they're going to take the first 4 weeks of the NFL and put them in January where the playoffs are. And they'll push the playoffs off. So the Super Bowl won't be in February. It might be a little later in March. So they'll start off in like October 4th, but that's due to the coronavirus. We're going to play it out right now as they hope to play, as with the season kicking off on Thursday, September 10th, with the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. Guys, this is banner night for the Chiefs. I don't think anyone in the NFL doesn't know how loud the stadium and the Chiefs can get, especially on banner night. I'm giving this one to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think it's no question that you give that one to Kansas City, especially because the Texans made the dumbest trade of all time in trading away DeAndre Hopkins. It's going to be way too easy for Patrick Mahomes, and the Texans have always lacked on defense, so easy dubs for the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is another no-brainer. I mean, the Chiefs are going to take it. I mean, they have made a few moves here and there, but of course, with the Texans, I'm not sure what Bill O'Brien's thinking anymore. I mean, he's probably going crazy. Like at this point, we're not sure, but I mean, we're just going to have to hand this one to Patrick Mahomes.
Next, our first Sunday game on September 13th, we have first Sunday game of Week 1. We have the Green Bay Packers going to Minnesota. For me, this is going to be a tough game because we know how good Kirk Cousins is with a 1 o'clock time zone. He doesn't do well in prime time, but this is a Green Bay team that's coming off of a championship loss against the 49ers. I think they're going to be hungry and going to be out for a win. So I'm going to give this one a road win for the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, no question about it. Considering I've grown up watching the NFC North because that's where my Bears play. The Packers have always been the team to beat. And, the Vikings and Lions have never stood a chance against them in any of the past years. And, the Vikings have a solid team, but with the loss of Stephon Diggs, that kind of puts all the weight on Adam Thielen's shoulders. But I think the Packers have a much better all-around team, and they'll take that one easily.
Personally, I think the Packers would take it, but the only problem I see here is what's going on behind the scenes. We all know that the Packers have picked up a new quarterback, Jordan Love, out of Utah State. So how is Aaron Rodgers feeling? We're not sure right now. I mean, I would like the Packers to win. I mean, I'm not a Minnesota fan, but I could see Minnesota taking this one just due to the fact what's happening in the locker room.
Yeah, the locker room does play a big role because we've seen that with teams before. Moving on, we have the Miami Dolphins and the New England Patriots. This one's going to be tough. With the loss of Tom Brady, with the loss technically of Rob Gronkowski, this is going to be a very, very interesting New England Patriots team with Jason Stidham, Bill Belichick naming him the starting quarterback. We haven't seen him play a lot. We know Miami got Tua. We also got Ryan Fitzpatrick. So there's two very, very good they're not good quarterbacks, but they're two good quarterbacks to lead Miami. This is in Foxborough again, so it's hard to win at Foxborough, especially on Week 1. I'm giving this to Miami, though. As good as we've seen New England play at home, we've seen Miami with Ryan Fitzpatrick take down the New England Patriots Week 17 last year. I just don't think the New England Patriots offense is going to be enough to produce points for the defense to handle. So I'm giving this one to Miami.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. And I'm also going to have to disagree with you in the sense that I don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. I think definitely Tua Tagovailoa is going to step up and take that starting spot for him, just simply because Ryan Fitzpatrick is so inconsistent. And I think Tua has been NFL ready. That being said, it's his first week in NFL competition, so he's not really used to it. And college ball and NFL ball are two completely different types of play. So I'm going to give this one to the Patriots, especially because of their studded defense. And Stephon Gilmore on that defense is going to be a big problem for Tua. But it'll be a great learning experience.
Mm-hmm. Despite everything's going on with the quarterback situation in Miami, I just think with all the draft picks that they had, I mean, they went on a defensive heavily draft. I mean, they got a cornerback, they got the defensive line, they got safeties. And with the Patriots not really knowing what's going on offense, I'm just going to have to give this one to Miami.
Moving on, the next one, we have the Philadelphia Eagles going to Washington. This is going to be the second full season of Dwayne Haskins. He's probably going to get the starting QB. On the flip side, we have a very, very shaking Carson Wentz, who's been injury prone, and we've seen that in the past couple of years. This is going to be a tough one. I'm giving this one to Philadelphia. Washington has looked very, very they had a good draft, but they've looked very, very weak. This is going to be a good test early against a division rival. I think Carson Wentz has always shown that he's been great in the first couple of weeks of the season before he's gone down. So I'm going to jump on the continuation of Philadelphia having a strong first half of the season. I think they can take the win.
I'm definitely going to agree with you there. Definitely the sense that, Carson Wentz has been an amazing quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles when he's played, and the Redskins have at least 18 quarterbacks on their roster right now. So I don't really expect the Redskins to win this one. But for Chase Young, the new draftee, I definitely think that it's going to be a great test of his ability, and I really hope that he can show out this game and show what he's capable of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with y'all on there. The quarterback situation in Washington is just too shaky for me. We're not sure if Dwayne Haskins has developed. I mean, Alex Smith is there, which is going to be great help for Dwayne Haskins, and of course Chase Young, the defensive player that has just gone over there with a great draft pick. But at this point, I'm just gonna have to give it to Philly. I mean, we all know Carson Wentz can do what he does in the first half.
Our next game would be the Las Vegas Raiders and the Carolina Panthers. This is the first game that Las Vegas is going to be playing. It's going to be in Carolina this first game, but it's going to be a tough one, especially with the whole Cam Newton situation. They do get Teddy Bridgewater. Las Vegas, I think, still has Derek Carr at the helm. I'm giving this one, as I think both of you guys might disagree with me, I'm giving this one to Carolina. I've seen enough of Teddy Bridgewater that he can lead a team. Probably not so far into the playoffs, but he can lead the team to a couple of wins. I think with his new relocation to Las Vegas, they're gonna have a little bit of a tough time to get reacclimated in Las Vegas. So I'm giving Carolina the home win first for the Panthers.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to do an amazing job. He was incredible last year with the Saints when Drew Brees was out, and I definitely think that with Christian McCaffrey in the backfield as well, they'll have a star-studded offense. And the Raiders have been kind of shaky these past couple of years. Derek Carr went from being a star quarterback to kind of just in the mix. And I think that that's not going to be good enough for them to win that game.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give this one to the Panthers as well. I mean, we all know what Teddy Bridgewater can do, but we also got to remember Christian McCaffrey. What is he going to do? I think he's going to put the team on his back if Teddy Bridgewater struggles. But we also don't know what's going on in Las Vegas. Just the relocation of it, it's really hard for a lot of the players. So I can just see this one going to the Panthers.
Our next game, Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Indianapolis picked up Philip Rivers in the offseason, so I'm going to give them to that, especially on the flip side with Jacksonville. They don't have a quarterback situation. They have Gardner Minshew. They lost Blake Bortles a while ago, so they've been in a really rough spot for the past couple of years after their loss to New England in the AFC Championship game. So I'm giving this one to New England. This will be to Indianapolis. This is their first time with Philip Rivers. They also have Jacoby Brissett. So two good quarterbacks fighting it out. So whoever they have at the helm, they're going to be well. So I'm giving this one to Indianapolis.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think Jacksonville is going to win this one. I'm a member of the Gardner Minshew bandwagon. I think that he's going to show out in this first game. And Philip Rivers is kind of getting on that older side where, it's questionable these last couple of seasons how he's going to do. No doubt he's an elite quarterback. The Colts will put up a good fight, but I think the Jaguars take this one away.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Tommy on this one. I'm going to give the Jaguars it just due to the fact that we all know that they've been a defensive-heavy team, and with the quarterback fight in Indianapolis, it's just going to be hard for them to kind of get into the mix. So, I mean, Philip Rivers, and T.Y. Hilton, I can see them connecting well, but just not good enough to beat the Jaguars.
Our next game, Seattle Seahawks at Atlanta Falcons. This one's the tough game for me because Seattle is very good. And we saw Atlanta, which sparks the greatness. And this is something that I've always said, that Atlanta is good. They're in a tough division, obviously, now with Saints, with the Buccaneers that could be good, and they obviously have themselves. So this is a tough game because we've seen sparks of greatness. I don't think the window is closing quickly, but I don't think it's fully closed. That being said, I don't think that they have enough star power on the defensive side to stop Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to bring Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks their first win here on the road against Atlanta.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I don't think Atlanta is just ready yet. And, they obviously acquired Todd Gurley in the offseason, and they have Julio Jones. But their defensive struggles are kind of what worry me, and that's where Russell Wilson shines the best. And no doubt about it, Russell Wilson is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I would not want to go against him if I was an NFL defense, so I'm going to assume the Seahawks.
As much as I would like to see the Falcons succeed over the Seahawks, I mean, the Seahawks have just disappointed me in years past, of course. But what is Todd Gurley healthy is the biggest question that everyone's going through right now. His health is a big mystery that's going on. So with all the drama and chaos going on in Atlanta, I think the Seahawks are just going to take this one.
Our next game, Tommy, your Chicago Bears are traveling to Detroit to play against the Lions. This is going to be a difficult game to see how Matt Stafford's health plays up. I think we should easily know who the better team is. And I apologize, Tommy, but I'm going to give this one to Detroit. I think with a healthy Matt Stafford, they're going to be too much to handle for Chicago, especially with Chicago having like 10 tight ends on their roster, and the fact that they're going to be home. So I'll give this one to Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. Again, growing up, Detroit was always the one team in the NFC North that we could beat. So, Matthew Stafford is an incredible quarterback, but he has never had the wide receivers. Well, Calvin Johnson, but he's not here anymore. He hasn't had the wide receivers since then. Obviously Kenny Galloway, I believe is his name. I probably messed that up. But I think that, as I've thought about this more, I get a lot on Mitchell Trubisky, and I'm going to because he was terrible last season to me. I hated him. But I think it was just a sophomore slump. I think Mitchell Trubisky comes back strong this year with his 11 tight ends, as well as the other wide receivers that we've kind of thrown in there in the mix a little bit. And he has a pretty good season. I think the Bears are going to be a team to mess with next year. Again, I said that last year, but we'll see what happens. I think they take this first game, though.
As much as I hate to say it, I think the Bears are going to take this one. I mean, we can forget about Mitchell Trubisky. They have Nick Foles on the bench. And although Nick Foles may not be a superstar quarterback, he's someone that can come off the bench and help you with the team. Like, for example, whenever the Eagles won the Super Bowl, we all know what he can do then and there. And with the Lions, the countless number of trades they had this past year, I'm not even sure what's going on in that situation. And, of course, with the Bears, I don't even know how many tight ends, but I think the Bears are just going to pull this one out.
Our next game, Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore came out with a very, very good regular season. I think the best team in the AFC with a disappointing loss against Tennessee. Cleveland has always had that hype with Baker Mayfield and everything like that, but they still haven't shown yet. I think this could be the year that Baker tips. It has a very, very good year. And the fact that this game is in Baltimore, I think the Ravens are extremely upset about that loss in the divisional round against the Tennessee Titans. I'm giving this one to Baltimore. I think they're going to come out and absolutely obliterate Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland doesn't stand a chance in my book. I mean, Baker Mayfield has never proven to be the quarterback we'd all expect him to be, and Lamar Jackson has an incredible season last year. I think that he will have – I don't think Lamar Jackson will have as good of a year as he did last year because of the fact that NFL teams now know how to play against him and how to stop what he's been able to do, especially during that Tennessee game. The Titans put on a good example of that. But I still think Baltimore comes out with this one.
Yeah, I think this one's a no-brainer. I mean, Baltimore, just the stuff that they've been able to do the past year with Lamar Jackson. And also, we don't know what's going on in Cleveland with Myles Garrett and what happened with the Steelers last year, and also Odell Beckham possibly being in the trade. We're not sure what's going on at this point. But Baker Mayfield's just not what we thought out to be. And, of course, they had a few good pickups in the draft, but I just think the Ravens are going to come out and just want to beat them down.
Our next game, we got the Jets at Buffalo. Buffalo is going to be a good team. They had a disappointing loss in the wildcard game against Houston last year. It showed, though, Josh Allen is still young, but he showed that he has potential. He made a lot of rookie mistakes last year, but it looks like he might be the guy for Buffalo in the coming years. They actually also added Stephon Diggs from the Vikings. That's going to be another great wide receiver to help the Vikings. Sam Darnold, we haven't seen him been proven right yet. He's been off to a slow start in the NFL. Buffalo's at home. It's going to be a cold night. I'm going to give this one to Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. But this will be a really good game in the sense that, we'll see Stephon Diggs going up against Jamal Adams potentially on the right side of the field. And then Le'Veon Bell, if he's still the running back for the Jets. I'm not sure. I haven't checked up on him in a while. I think he's going to have a great comeback year because, last year he was kind of getting back into the mix of things after taking a year off. And Sam Darnold has a lot to work on, but thankfully he does have guys like Le'Veon Bell in the backfield that can help him out a little bit. But Josh Allen, this is his year. This is his breakout year. He has no more excuses anymore. He has Stephon Diggs and some other great wide receivers on that team, and they're going to be great.
Our next game is probably the game that everyone's going to be
Oh,
watching.
hold on. You got to let Ashton give his take.
My bad, Alex. My bad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to agree with y'all on this, Buffalo. If Josh Allen comes out and does what he normally does, and of course they picked up Jake Fromm over this past year. I mean, I've enjoyed Jake Fromm over at Georgia. If Josh Allen doesn't produce, I can see Jake Fromm coming into the mix. I mean, he's a young quarterback. I mean, he did spend a few years at Georgia, but he just kind of clicks with everybody. He's a very people person, so I see them taking the win over them.
Now, the 4:00 game, but probably the one that everyone's going to be watching, is Joe Burrow's first game in the NFL, and they'll actually be at home. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is going to be a good game, both because the Chargers lost to Phillip Rivers, Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. I'm giving this one to Cincinnati. I'm saying it only because of Joe Burrow. I think he's going to have he's going to have a good first year. Probably not the best, but it'll be what everyone expected him. I don't think he'll over produce, but he definitely won't underproduce, and especially since they're home. This is going to be the first sold-out game, I'm assuming, in a very long time in Cincinnati. So I'm giving this one to the Bengals.
I'm going to have to disagree with you in one sense. I think Cincinnati is going to win this game, but I think Joe Burrow is going to outlive everybody's expectations. And here's why. Because everybody doubted him at LSU too, and look what he did. He set all these records and now undefeated champions, arguably one of the best college teams of all time. I think he's going to take over in Cincinnati. If A.J. Green is healthy, forget about it. Those defenses are done for. And they also picked up Clemson wide receiver T.J. Higgins, I believe is his name. And, they played against each other in that national finals game, but Higgins was definitely the best wide receiver on that Clemson squad. And, I mean, that should be enough for an incredible offense.
I'm a bit of a toss-up here because you both got two rookie quarterbacks. You got Justin Herbert on the Chargers side, and you also got Joe Burrow. We all know that Joe Burrow has just done better than Justin Herbert, but I like Justin Herbert. I believe he's a good quarterback. But my biggest thing is the defensive side. You have Joey Bosa on the other side. Is Joe Burrow going to be able to hold against that? So I'm going to have to give this one to the Chargers just due to the fact that Joe Burrow is a rookie quarterback. And with the Chargers, you have Tyrod Taylor helping Justin Herbert.
Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be the second season for young rookie Kyler Murray. He also got another weapon in DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans. And we got on the flip side the Super Bowl losing 49ers in the NFC Championship. This is going to be – I'm giving this one to the 49ers. They're at home. I think there's going to be no doubt. Whether they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover or not, I don't think so. I think they've still got enough to continue their season with Jimmy G, Bosa. I think they'll be fine. And they're playing the Cardinals that are still weak on the defensive side and on offensive side. So I'm giving this one I think the 49ers are going to cleanly win this game.
I'm going to disagree with you there, and it's definitely going to be an upset. But Arizona, I think Kyler Murray is going to have the best year of his life because he has DeAndre Hopkins on his team now. And they also got rid of David Johnson, who was kind of holding him back, I feel like. And then Isaiah Simmons on the other side of the ball, too. I mean, he's going to be a force. I still think he's the best player in this draft. He plays defense. That's what I love about him. He can play anywhere he wants on the field. He's dangerous, and he's the wild card for the Arizona Cardinals that can get them this upset victory.
Yeah, as much as I would like to see the 49ers to pull this out, I've always loved watching the 49ers. I remember watching Alex Smith play over there. I just think the Cardinals are going to pull this one out. And not like we can forget about defense. I think Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are going to have a field day out there.
Our next game is probably going to be one of the games of the week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. This is Tom Brady's first game in the Tampa Bay uniform. And this is going to be the third time Tom Brady and Drew Brees faced off. They split the series before 1-1. This game is in New Orleans. I'm giving this one to New Orleans. They picked up Emmanuel Sanders on the 49ers. I think their defense has gotten a lot better. They got something to prove after that disappointing home loss in the wild card game against the Minnesota Vikings. So I'm giving this one to the Saints.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously the hype is all surrounding Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski over in Tampa Bay, but you have to remember that New Orleans has one of the best defenses in the NFL. And they also have one of the best offenses in the NFL as well. I like they're my Super Bowl champions this coming year. I see them easily taking this first game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore, Tommy. I just think with Drew Brees back there, and of course you have countless numbers, count of wide receivers. You also have Alvin Kamara, who's done very well in the coming years. I just don't think Tom Brady and Mike Evans and Gronkowski can just pull this one out. I mean, like you said, they have one of the best defenses and one of the best offenses. It's really hard to play against that.
Our Sunday night game of the week, the Dallas Cowboys are going to the LA Rams. Both teams had disappointing years. Dallas got CD now with another good threat for Dak Prescott. LA really didn't do anything in the offseason. I'm giving this one to Dallas. They're going to be going on the West Coast side with CD, new weapon. They're going to be very excited. So I'm giving this one to Dallas.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Dallas is just too overloaded, and LA has been kind of inconsistent these past couple of years. They went from Super Bowl to 8-8, and that's definitely not good enough to beat the Cowboys. Now the Cowboys are also kind of a mediocre team, but I think one of their most slept-on pieces is Dak Prescott, and I know he gets a lot of hate from Cowboys fans themselves and the media, but I think he is a great quarterback, and I think the addition of CeeDee Lamb is going to help them tremendously.
Yeah, Tommy couldn't have said it better. The Rams have just been very inconsistent. I mean, their defense is good. They have Jalen Ramsey, they got Aaron Donald, just countless number of players on defense. But can Jared Goff pull this off for the Rams? I don't think so. I just think Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are going to take over. And they also have Amari Cooper, who has struggled a bit, but I also believe that he's going to have a breakout year. And then, of course, we all know Ezekiel Elliott is just going to eat as he does. But other than that, I just think the Cowboys are going to take this one.
Our next game, Monday night on September 14th. There's two Monday night games. We'll go to the first Monday night game at 7 o'clock. We got my Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to New York to play the Giants. Cross-league matchup here. For me, this is going to be it's hard to pick this game for me because obviously I love the Steelers. But with me being not biased, I actually do have to go with the Steelers on this one. Danny Dimes hasn't proved anything. We got Saquon Barkley. He didn't do as well as he's done in previous years. Big Ben is hopefully coming back with the Steelers. Hopefully he's going to be a newer and then more improved Ben Roethlisberger. We saw what their defense was like last year. Top defense, probably behind Green Bay and New England last year. So now it's about this offense. If Pittsburgh can get their offense rolling with new guys and young guys, I think the sky's the limit for this Pittsburgh team. Now we've said that a lot past couple of years. So I think this is the year that we could actually do something, especially with how good our defense is. We got Bud Dupree back. We signed a lot of good players. We got Derek Watt back. So I'm going to say I'm giving this one to Pittsburgh, giving their first win on the road in New York.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh wins. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think Daniel Jones hasn't been the quarterback the Giants have thought him to be. And although I love Saquon Barkley, I mean, we've all seen the videos of him at Penn State, and we've seen him produce with the Giants. I just don't think they're going to prevail over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you got Big Ben behind the center, so I'm not sure what the Giants are even going to do in this matchup. I'm stuttering. That's how bad it's going to be.
Next, our final game of Week 1, we got the Tennessee Titans at Denver. Denver is very, very weak as a team, both offensively and defensively. We saw how good Tennessee was. They lost in the AFC Championship game to a very good Kansas City team. With Derrick Henry, I'm going to give this one to Tennessee, no doubt.
This one is tough for me because I'm really looking forward to the young Denver quarterback, Drew Lock's second year. He really outperformed himself last year, and I absolutely love him as a player. But no doubt about it, Tennessee wins this one. I mean, unless you can find me somebody who can tackle Derrick Henry consistently, I don't think that any defense stands a chance against him alone.
I mean, I think the Titans are going to win this game, but my biggest thing for it, are we going to see Ryan Tannehill throw the ball? Like that's just what I want to know. I mean, I think Derrick Henry is going to obliterate Denver this whole game.
That was Week 1. We had winners and losers for Week 1. We're going to move on to Week 2 now of our 4 weeks. We're going to do best of 4 weeks now. Starting up on Thursday night, September 17th, Joe Burrow's second game going to Cleveland as the Bengals take on the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a different game. Cleveland's at home for the first time. It's prime time. I'm still giving this one to Cincinnati. I'm very skeptical of Joe Burrow. I know what we've seen in him, but I'm still skeptical of him until I actually see him play. I'm going to give this one to Cleveland. They're at home. The defense is mediocre. The offense is not bad. So I have to give this to Cleveland because Cincinnati's defense is not good. And hopefully the offense will be a lot better with Joe Burrow. But I have to give this one to Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Joey Burrow and the Bengals. Again, Cleveland has been so inconsistent that I need to see them actually start picking it up and blowing teams out like they should on the offensive side for me to believe in them winning. So I take Joey Burrow 2-0 to start his career.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take Joe Burrow on this one. I still think that the Browns are just not gonna pick up from what's gone on in the few years. I think as we said earlier, if AJ Green is healthy, they're gonna put that.
Our Sunday game, Sunday, September 12th, our first 1:00 game, we got the Rams at Philadelphia. I'm giving this one to Philadelphia again. The Rams have been showed very, very weak, especially after that loss against the New England Super Bowl. Philadelphia always, like I said for week one, they always have a hot start, especially this is their home opener, so I'm giving them the win.
I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm definitely going to take the Rams on this one just because of Aaron Donald's presence on that defensive line. There isn't a single offensive lineman in this league who can stop that man from getting to the quarterback. And with a guy like Carson Wentz in the backfield, I just think Aaron Donald is going to have a field day with that.
This one's a bit weird for me because I want to see the Eagles win just because I want to see Jalen Hurts get into the mix. I want to see what's been brought of him. I mean, if they go up by a lot, hopefully they'll put him in the game. But like Tommy said, can the offense get by Aaron Donald, which is very hard. I mean, of course, the Eagles have great wide receivers. I mean, they got a few from TCU over the draft. So it's going to be a bit hard, but I'm going to have to give this one to the Rams.
Next game, we got Minnesota Vikings at the Indianapolis Colts. I'm giving this one to Minnesota. It's hard for me to say because they lost a very, very big star in Stephon Diggs. I like what Minnesota has at those 1:00 games. I think Kirk Cousins has enough in him to get by teams like Indianapolis. And like you said, Tommy, Philip Rivers is getting old. So it's gonna be tough for Philip Rivers to win games. So I'm gonna give this one to Minnesota. They'll get one of their few wins of the season right
here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Even though I don't like Kirk Cousins' style of play, and I don't think he's a good quarterback, the Colts are they're just not good enough. Minnesota's too good of a team. This is no question about it.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I think Minnesota's taking this one. But for me, the biggest thing that I want to see is that I want to see Justin Jefferson go off in this game. I would love to see him go off. I mean, of course, coming off the big win with LSU, I think that's just going to carry him over into this game.
Next game, Atlanta Falcons at the Cowboys. Like I said for week one, the Cowboys are very excited with CD. It's a new weapon. But I also said Atlanta is going to explode at some point. They have the potential. We've seen it. They've done very, very well in this NFC South, which is tough. Which is going to be a tougher NFC South than we think this year. I'm giving this one to Atlanta. I think they have the weapons. They just don't have the coaching. I think they have a better coach than Dan Quinn. I think they'd be in a Super Bowl position spot. With Dan Quinn, they've been held back. It's like the Bill O'Brien situation in Houston. So I'm giving this one to Atlanta. I think they're going to get one of their wins here on the road in Dallas.
Yeah, I think that this second week is going to be the week where Atlanta kind of pieces all the pieces of the puzzle together. Is that right? And, they put the Matt Ryan and the Todd Gurley and the Julio Jones trio all together. And then their defense steps it up a bit too. I'm excited to watch this one, and I think the Falcons get the win.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we all know how lethal the Cowboys can be. I mean, of course, you got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. I can just go down a whole list of offensive threats. But are we sure the Cowboys defense is going to be able to stop Todd Gurley as long as he's healthy? But I'm going to have to give this one to the Falcons.
Our next game, the Giants at the Bears. I'm sorry, Tommy. I don't like the. I just haven't seen anything good with Mitchell Trubisky. I know you might think he could have a breakout year. I just can't see it, especially in a very very tough, once a top heavy NFC North. I'm giving something to the Giants. I think Danny Dimes can do enough off the defense. Um, and I think Saquon Barkley could possibly run over their defense. So on the defensive side, I think it's going to be a very offensive game. But I think the Giants have a bit of an edge on this one.
So we have like Khalil Mack, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Akeem Hicks and Leonard
Yeah.
Floyd and Kyle Fuller, even though he's overrated. So we have one of the better defenses in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Saquon Barkley's not going to run over our defense. He'll do good, but he's not running over anybody except maybe the secondary because they're skinny. But you're insane if you think the Giants are going to win this one because the Giants simply aren't good. They have Saquon Barkley and Danny Dimes, who has a good game every once in a while, but that's about it. And yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. I think Chicago starts the season off 2-0, and then they slowly start to crumble.
As much as you guys hate him, there's only one reason the Bears are going to pull this game off. I think Mitchell Trubisky is going to suck in his very first game of his career, and I think Nick Foles is going to come up and play. I mean, as much as you guys hate him, I put my head on the Bible. I think Nick Foles is going to come off and just have a great year for the Bears.
If Nick Foles makes us beat the Giants, because we lost to the Giants last year somehow, if Nick Foles can make us beat the Giants, he's my quarterback.
Maybe you should buzz your head like I
could do that one.
I could see you, Ashton, with that. I could see Nick Foles coming back. We've seen it before, but I agree with you. I could see Nick Foles going and taking over the Bears. Our next game, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans. Again, the Jacksonville Jaguars, as you said, Ashton, is a very defensive-heavy team. They just haven't shown that they've been weak for the past couple of years. After that loss to New England in the championship, I think Derrick Henry is just going to run all over the defense.
Yeah, I think all I have to say for this one is Derrick Henry, Titans win.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm a 904 boy, Jacksonville, but I'm not sure that anyone could stop Derrick Henry. And of course, my biggest thing is, are we going to see Ryan Tannehill throw the ball? That's what I want to see this year, is Ryan Tannehill throw the ball.
I don't think he will.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't need to when you have a human bulldozer in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, are the Titans going to go to the Super
Bowl? They might as well. I mean, they literally have 5 men and 1 at their running back position.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, I just think Derrick Henry is going to pull this game off. So Derrick Henry wins, not the Titans. Derrick Henry.
All right, next game, Carolina Panthers going to Tampa Bay. This is Tom Brady's first home game. Again, like I said, with Cincinnati, this might be the first sold-out game in Tampa Bay in a while. Probably not since the Super Bowl that they hosted with the Steelers and the Cardinals. I'm giving this one to Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay can do enough with Brady and with Ingram, and with Evans. So I'm giving this one to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is the game where we'll see Tom Brady come back into action as well as Gronk. And they're going to Gronk spike the life out of them. So I think I take Tampa Bay in this one.
As much as I don't want the Bucs to win, because I mean, my hair will be back. I don't want to shave it again. I really don't want them to win this game, but I think they're going to take it, sadly.
Our next game, the San Francisco 49ers are traveling across the coast to the New York Jets. For me, I'm going to keep this one short. I don't think there's any argument or debate on this one. San Francisco is easily going to take care of business over in East Pittsburgh.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think the Jets step it up this game. I don't think San Francisco is going to be the same team that we saw this year. Jimmy Garoppolo is not a throwing quarterback. All he does is hand off the ball to his 16 running backs. And Jamal Adams on that defensive side, I think he's one of the best players in the NFL defensively. Definitely top 5 at the safety position. And the president himself is going to lead the Jets past the 49ers here.
Sorry, but I don't know. Like, the only way the 49ers take this game is if Le'Veon Bell's still not playing. I'm not sure I can see Sam Darnold carrying this Jets team over a win over the 49ers. And of course, I'm not positive the 49ers are going to be the 49ers from last year, but the only way the Jets win this game is Le'Veon Bell is healthy. So as long, God forbid that he gets hurt, I think the Jets are going to take this game.
Interesting. Next game, we got the Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. This is gonna be tough because I like you said probably Tua will probably be the quarterback for Miami. Buffalo again is a young team, but they have a great defense and an offense that is coming, especially with a young Josh Allen. I'm giving this one to Buffalo. I think they're gonna take care of business down in Miami.
This will be a big test for Tua because of the cornerback in Tre'Davious White that Buffalo has. And I still think that because of that, not necessarily just because of White, but because, Tua is still kind of getting used to the mix of things, I still take Buffalo with this one. I think, like I said, Josh Allen is going to have a great year, and it'll be a QB battle to watch between Tagovailoa and Allen. But still, Buffalo comes out with the win.
The only reason I give Buffalo this game is that we all know the Dolphins went defensive heavy on the draft, but at this point in time, their defense, their younger guys are still going to be transitioning to the game. And of course, they have Stephon, if I'm correct, yes, Stephon Diggs for the Buffalo Bills. I think he's just going to obliterate the defense. And that's the main reason that's going to prevail them over the game.
Our next game, we got the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. It's tough to win at Lambeau, so I'm giving this one to Green Bay.
Yeah, it's the Lions against the Packers. Just like every other game that I've watched on TV when those two play, Green Bay easily wins.
I'm sorry, my laptop is just giving me, I don't even know at this point. But I just think the Packers are going to take the. Actually, if I can rephrase this, I think the refs are going to win this game. We all know that the Twitter refs are going to be out on this game. We all know that the commissioner is going to be at this game just to make sure nothing goes wrong. But I think the refs are going to win this game, so Green Bay Packers.
Next game, moving it on to the last 1 o'clock game, we got Denver at Pittsburgh. This is Pittsburgh's home game, first home opener, I have to say. I'm giving this on the Pittsburgh again. The defense is outstanding, especially against a weak link against Drew Lock and the Denver Broncos. I'm hoping Big Ben doesn't have any issues. We know it's tough to come back. We've seen it in baseball coming back from a Tommy John elbow injury. We're going to see how it is with Ben. He's been shut down for the longest time. Hopefully he gets the rest he needs. This is a young offensive group, and I think it'll be a good match for this Denver team.
I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think this is the game where Drew Lock emerges as one of the better quarterbacks, who's up and coming, rather, not in the league like I was going to say. But I think Drew Lock's potential is through the roof. And him and Austin Eckler are incredible on that offensive side of the ball. Obviously the Steelers have an incredible defense. It'll be a big, tough test, but I think they prevail.
As much as I would like to see Drew Lock do well this season, I just still think that second week is going to be really rough for him. I mean, I'm not really sure what he's going to be able to accomplish with what he has. I just think that the Steelers are going to take this one. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have a great game. I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a great game. I'm going to want to watch T.J. Watt. I know he's been great on the linebacker position, so I'm just going to want to watch this game. So I'm going to have to give this one to the Steelers.
Moving on to the 4 o'clock game, we got Washington at Arizona. I think Arizona's home opener. I predicted Arizona to lose their first game against San Francisco. That's a tough game, but they're coming back to Washington. Washington's traveling across the country to Arizona. I think Arizona now again with DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. I'm giving this one to Arizona. We haven't seen Washington. We haven't seen a lot of Dwayne Haskins, and traveling across to the West Coast is always a tough task for anything to do.
I think the Redskins actually get this one because Chase Young finally steps it up a bit more, and he helps out on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that Dwayne Haskins, he struggled a lot last year, but he also didn't get all the playing time that he should have last year. And we saw bits and pieces of him. And also, I think we're forgetting a big part in Terry McLaurin. And he was an incredible wide receiver last year. He would tear secondaries up whenever he had the ball. I really, really like him as a player, and I think that he's definitely going to take some of the weight off of Haskins' shoulders.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Tommy in this one. We're going to see Chase Young go crazy. And my biggest thing is, who's the quarterback going to be for the Redskins this game? Because I think Dwayne Haskins is going to do well the first game, but you also have Alex Smith and Kyle Allen backing him up. And you also the biggest player I want to see in this game is Antonio Gibson, the running back. I'm going to love to watch him play. He's going to give Dwayne Haskins some help. And then also Thaddeus Moss from LSU. He's also, he came off a big win, of course. It's the second game. But I'm just going to, I just want to see this game go off. So I think the Redskins are going to go crazy this game, and they're going to win.
Our next game, we got Kansas City at the Chargers. I think Kansas City is absolutely going to blow out the Chargers here. They got a great defense and a very, very good offense, a fast offense, Super Bowl winning champions, especially in the Patrick Mahomes, which is a great young quarterback. It's still developing himself. I don't think we've seen him hit his peak yet. So I'm giving this one to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City should demolish every team that they play against this year. So Patrick Mahomes, I think that's all I have to say. Chiefs win.
As much as, y'all know I ride or die for Justin Herbert. As much as I want to see him succeed, I just don't think the Chargers defense is going to stick up to Patrick Mahomes. We all know the the Chiefs are an offensive-minded team. So I just think they're going to pull this one out.
Our next game, our 425 game, Baltimore at Houston. I'm giving this one to Baltimore. I think they're utterly going to destroy Houston, especially with their weak offense, especially in Houston's weak offense, losing DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Jackson again. They're still going to be on the revenge tour to try to avenge what he had last year.
Lamar Jackson snaps Houston's ankles in half, and the Ravens win.
My biggest thing is Deshaun Watson needs to get the heck out. As much as I love the Texans. I've grown up watching the Texans. I went through the horrors of Matt Schaub with I don't even know how many pick sixes.
But you have no idea who Jay Cutler is. Anyways, continue.
You don't know who Jameis Winston is.
Jay Cutler threw into triple coverage. He should have had like 40 interception seasons if he didn't have Alshon Jeffrey to save him. Anyways, go ahead.
As much as I love the Texans, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to answer this. I'm sure you could answer this for me. Deshaun Watson needs to leave. He needs to be gone. This is making me so frustrated. Michael Irvin said it best. We got a ham sandwich for DeAndre Hopkins. A ham sandwich. We didn't even get cheese on it. We didn't even get any cheese on it.
And it was an expensive ham sandwich.
I know. It's like we went to Jersey Mike's and got like a half sub for the full price. I'm sorry.
I like Jersey Mike's.
Jersey Mike's is good.
I could get unprofessional about what the Texans are doing. I could get so mad with Bill O'Brien. I need to calm myself down. But, of course, the Ravens pull this one out. The Texans, we may not even win a game this year. But that's all I got to say.
Well, no, they'll definitely win a game this year, just not against the Ravens.
Maybe one or two.
I think if DeAndre Hopkins is going to go anywhere, I think New England's going to be the best bet. If Cam Newton doesn't go to New England, I think that's going to be.
Well, let's hope DeAndre Hopkins doesn't go to New England. Deshaun Watson.
But Deshaun Watson. What am I saying? Sorry.
That would be even worse.
Deshaun Watson needs to go to New England. I think that's his future. Especially with we haven't seen Jason Stidham, so we don't know what he's like. But if it turns out Jason Stidham is not it, I think Deshaun Watson is the great place for New England. Speaking of New England, the Sunday night game, New England at Seattle. I think this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. I think Seattle's going to tear New England apart bit by bit. I know you guys say that New England has a great defense, but with a loud stadium like Seattle, with a good, very, very good Seattle team, they're just going to absolutely tear a rookie, well, not really a rookie, but a young Jason Stidham apart, especially with their weak offense.
Well, that was aggressive. I also want to go back. I really hope Deshaun Watson doesn't go to New England because that would just be 20 years of the same thing that Tom Brady did, and they just go to Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. But when it comes to this game, no. Jason Stidham is not a franchise quarterback. Russell Wilson is, and he's won a Super Bowl because of it. Seahawks win this one.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I should say much on this. Jared Stidham, I'm not even sure how to pronounce his last name, to be honest. But who's backing him? Brian Hoyer? We have Brian Hoyer backing him up. I'm upset about him, too, because he did us no justice in Houston. He made me mad. But, who do you have left in New England? Julian Edelman. I mean, he's a great player. I mean, he's an underdog. I believe he's 5'10", and he showed us a lot of great things. But I mean, can New England hold off Russell Wilson? And I'm not even sure why this is even on the matchup. I'm not going to give them the win. But yes, I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to take this game.
Our Monday night game on September 21st, we got the New Orleans Saints going to Las Vegas. Their first game in Las Vegas. Obviously, this is going to be a great game for Vegas, especially with the first time playing in front of their fans. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be an awkward situation walking in for the Drew Brees New Orleans Saints. We know how intense Raiders fans can be. We've seen it in Oakland, and Las Vegas might be a little bit different. I can't really predict that. But nonetheless, I do think the Saints are going to get the job done in Las Vegas. We're going to go in there. It won't be an easy game, just due to the crowd. But I think Drew Brees has been in worse situations before, and I think he'll get the job done here.
Well, this is a terrible home opener for the Las Vegas Raiders because you have to go against one of the better all-around teams in the league. I don't think the Raiders even stand a chance. Drew Carr against Drew Brees, Derek Carr, excuse me. Derek Carr against Drew Brees, forget about it. Brees is going to tear them apart. Michael Thomas will tear them apart. Alvin Kamara will tear them apart. Taysom Hill will tear them apart. Marshawn Latimore, I can go on and on. Saints win.
My only thing is, what are the Saints going to do after this? Like, are we going to Planet Hollywood? Are we going to Caesar's Palace? Like, where are we going after this game? Because I don't even think the Saints are even worried about winning this game. I know, and like they're already like the parties are already started. The beads are out. Everything is already started because the Saints are just going to obliterate the Raiders.
I feel like every single team that plays in Las Vegas, instead of traveling on Saturday, they're going to travel on like Wednesday or something and just like spend a couple days practicing and then the rest at the casino. As a coach, that's what I would personally do. But that'd just be a fun.
I've been a few times. I mean, for basketball, and like Las Vegas is fun just due to the fact that I gained 3 hours of sleep because that time goes back, so the rest is not a problem. So just might as well go have fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, you might as well be at the casino an hour before the game. You have nothing to worry about. The Raiders aren't a threat, especially if you're the Saints. I would show up to the stadium 20 minutes late because there's no problem. What? We're down by 14? Okay, give Drew Brees 2 quarters, 56-14, game over.
I feel like Drew Brees will have a tougher time at the casinos than he will have at the game.
That's for all of them, to be honest.
That's true, unless you're playing Denver, then I think Las Vegas is going to get the win. And they do play each other because they're in the same division. But yeah, that will wrap it up. I know we said we're going to do 4 weeks. All of us were talking. This takes a long time. We don't want to have you guys sit here and just watch us do predictions. So what we're going to do is we're going to, throughout the next couple of weeks, since sports haven't officially come back yet, we got baseball hopefully coming back on July 4th. Soccer might be coming. The EPL might be coming back in the next couple of weeks. NBA is making a decision in the next 2 to 4 weeks about what they're going to do with their season. So we're playing it as if there's no sports going on. We're going to do this not every week, maybe every other week. We'll have some fun. Maybe next week we'll do something really fun. We might live stream Fortnite that you guys love. We might rank something. We might have some fun or do some trivia or maybe another game that you guys mentioned. But we'll continue doing this until we get through week 16, and then we'll do playoffs. We're just going to do this 2 weeks at a time, just so it won't take too long and lengthy. But that will wrap up our episode. This is going to be very fun to see how our season, because there was a lot of surprises that you guys said that I didn't expect you guys to say. But that's it for our episode. Thank you guys for watching. Do hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time.